Hi, can you tell me who you are and what Schedule 28 is, please?
My name is Natalie Mara. I'm the Executive Director of the Ontario Health Coalition. Schedule 28 is part of the budget bill, but it's actually kind of like a piece of legislation in a piece of legislation. The budget bill is an omnibus bill. It's a bill that amends all kinds of legislation, also actually writes a bunch of new legislation. And this schedule is a wide-ranging, really shocking piece of legislation within the budget bill. What it does is it sets up an Uber Minister of Privatization, and that minister is given extraordinary powers. He or she and cabinet are given extraordinary powers to order the privatization of basically any Ontario public service. In the list of what's covered, in truth, we went through with the lawyers, we couldn't figure out what wasn't covered. So all ministries, all agencies, the Crown, the government, any entity of the government, municipalities, hospitals, schools, any board of a municipality, any agency created by a municipality. So in the end, what it means is this minister or cabinet, using these new powers, could override an existing ministry or existing legislation and order the privatization of hydro, of healthcare, of education, of social services, of water systems, of anything within a municipality, basically anything that government does. It's a shocking piece of legislation. So the issue is that amending it is not sufficient. We're calling for the withdrawal of it. You can't amend a piece of legislation to go against the legislation itself. You can only kind of go in the same direction and tinker around the edges. This is a bad piece of legislation. It has no business in a budget bill. It's making social policy in the budget, and it needs to be withdrawn. It's in the public interest that it be withdrawn. And the only reason, because most ministries and municipalities can contract out services anyway, so the only reason that they would give themselves these extraordinary new powers is because, you know, they want to be able to override existing legislation and reticence within ministries or municipalities to privatize certain services. So they want to overcome that and privatize them faster. There would be no other reason to write this legislation. It's just it's a really terrible act. And in truth, if the Conservatives had brought it in, Ontario would be up in arms about it. And it's because I think people don't think that a Liberal government, I didn't think a Liberal government would do this, but if you read it, Schedule 28 absolutely does give those powers, and it's a really terrible piece of legislation that needs to be withdrawn.
Thank you very much, Natalie.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was too much.